Hey, I'm Dave Watkins, Watkins Films, and today we're going to take a look at this new 4K UHD release of the 1951 comedy crime flick, The Lavender Hill Mob. This was originally released by Ealing Studios in Britain. This particular physical release was put out by Studio Canal, and they've done an excellent job of this extremely thick slip box with lots of extras inside, including, it says, glimmering a new 4K restoration, and a 64-page booklet, and 4 pop art postcards, and there's some other stuff too. We're going to take a look at all that here in just a bit. But this movie is in black and white, but we're going to do the rest of this video in color. I did add a little lavender light here in the back because it is the Lavender Hill Mob. Now, Lavender Hill Mob stars Alec Guinness, which most people will know from Star Wars, which they later retitled Star Wars A New Hope. He appeared in that movie as Obi-Wan Kenobi. His character dies in the first movie, but he does appear in the next two, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, as a Force ghost. In the Star Wars movies, he's pretty serious. He does a very good job at being a serious type of actor, but he also had very strong comedic chops, as you can see in the Lavender Hill Mob. In a later movie, I think this was in the 70s, he does play a blind butler in Murder by Death, and he does a very, very awesome job doing that. Now, Ealing Studios is a film and television production studio in England, and they're still in business today. But the best known for their comedy classics that they put out in the 50s, after World War II. People were ready for some comedy at that point in time, and they put out some very impressive movies. And as a matter of fact, when this movie is coming on, the Ealing Studios logo happens after the opening title. It says the title, like the Lavender Hill Mob, and then all of a sudden Ealing Studios thing pops up like this. And when I first saw that, I was like, that's kind of weird. I'm not used to seeing the studio right after the title, but there must be something to it. And apparently when you saw this pop up, you knew you were in for a treat. They're most famous for these type of movies like the Lavender Hill Mob, but they also put out Lady Killers, which was later remade by the Coen brothers, and Kind Hearts and Coronets, and a lot of others. A lot of them had Alec Guinness in them. This movie also stars Stanley Holloway, and he was in some of their other more famous comedy movies as well. So the Lavender Hill Mob is about a character played by Alec Guinness who works for this bank, and they deliver gold bars. Now, he's been working there for 20 years, and he's been kind of playing a long con. His character is a very particular type of character who makes sure everything runs very, very straight and narrow, and he kind of annoys everybody, including his superiors who have never promoted him. But he's done all of this apparently on purpose to gain their trust to be able to later on do a heist and steal the gold bars. Now, he finds another guy named played by Stanley Holloway, and Stanley Holloway's character, he's been making these Eiffel Tower souvenirs. He melts the, I guess they're made out of metal, but he sees his melting process. He's like, we can steal these gold bars and then melt them down into Eiffel Tower souvenirs, and that's how we can ship them out of the country. We can ship them to France. And so they hire 2 other guys who are going to help them do this heist, which involves Alec Guinness's character on this route with these gold bars, but he has to act like he was robbed. So it is a comedy film. I think a lot of it, to me, it does add a little anxiety to the movie, just because of the fact that they're probably going to get caught in the things that they're doing. Is a pretty well thought out plan. And filmmakers went to the Bank of England, and they asked them their opinion on a scheme of what would work and how somebody could steal from the car, and then they came up with this, and then they went with that. So it is interesting to that point that it seems like it realistically could have happened, but you have to have a character like Alec Guinness's character who people trust, and that would be a hard one to accomplish, because it would have to be an inside job pretty much. But let's take a look at the this packaging here of this very impressive slip box. Now, this type of release here, especially with the 4K transfer that is offered here on this, they say that they took like 200 hours of editing time to fix the scratches, and the movie looks very, very pristine. I think it looks fantastic. It is black and white, but everything looks the blacks look very deep, and everything looks great here. It's probably never going to look better than this. It could, I guess, if they put more, like they did a 6 or 8K transfer in the future, but I think it looks terrific, and this may be the best that it's going to get. But 200 hours, and I kind of did the math on this with a calculator. It ends up being about 8 days. 200 hours sounds like, whoa, 200 hours is a lot, but 8 days, it's still a lot of time in the editing room messing with this this transfer. So we got lots of stuff inside this. So here's the case with Alec Guinness and Stanley Holloway's character, and then we have a 4K disc, and which is, you can A, B, and C regions, but the Blu-ray's region B locked, and I wasn't able to play it in my player, unfortunately. But I wasn't going to watch the Blu-ray anyway. I was more going for the 4K. Here we have poster. Yep, I'll be hanging that on my wall. Not really, but I will leave it in the case. It's good to have as a collectible thing. All right, here we go. We got another poster. Okay. I like the first one better, but this one's got some kind of, I don't know what's up with it, some color. No, nothing lavender so much, but here's a booklet, which is very impressive, and they got a lot of essays, and they got pictures of the movie. There's Stanley Holloway and Alec Guinness. This movie really is a lot of fun, though. I highly recommend it. The part they actually they shot some scenes in Paris, France, on the Eiffel Tower, but there was kind of a scene, to me, when they had to run down the Eiffel Tower, and it's going around in a circle, and they got like point of view camera shots, and it kind of made me a little dizzy. I had to kind of look away. It was kind of like the first time I watched the Blair Witch Project. I was like, whoa, okay, this is getting a little much, but it's still kind of cool that they were able to shoot at the Eiffel Tower. So these are the 4 pop art postcards. We have the 4 main characters of the mob, the Lavender Hill Mob, Alec Guinness's character, Stanley Holloway's character, and we have these other two, the other 2 guys. They're played by Sidney James and Alfie Bass. They're actually pretty funny too, even though their screen time's not as much as the other guys, but they do have a decent amount of screen time. So this is a classic comedy heist film, The Lavender Hill Mob, a very impressive collection put out by Studio Canal. The most impressive part, other than the actual packaging, is the 4K restoration and the cleanup of the movie. I highly recommend checking this out sometime, and when you get a chance, if you can like the video, and really if you want to like the video, now would be a good time to do it. Just like it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already. I'm Dave Watkins. Thanks for watching.